can see me. I think everything's working. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, howdy. Guys, it's one cold place down here today. I'm going to upload a picture of my mural that I'm painting tomorrow. But anyways, I thought I would get into doing a little lesson real fast. About the number 5. We're looking at number 5, Matthew. Matthew 5, of course. Right? Jesus. Of course, he's on his way someplace, right? We know where he's on his way to. But listen, number 5 is about our body. 5 is the 5 senses. Jesus, to take before he could die, before he died. On, which means once he, you have to, you have to kill yourself. You have to be killed in order to make it over to the other side. You had to be without the body. And so he takes the 5 wounds. All right. And basically that's what it means. Okay. And it's the idea that the body parts themselves are representing the 12. All right. Which represent, the zodiac, or better still, from the Bible, it's called the Mazzaroth. And we get, Aries and Taurus and Gemini. And we get, Leo, the heart, and all this. As we keep going all the way down, you'll find that we wind up with Pisces, our feet. Okay. Which is about directions. Which way do you want to go? And that's the whole thing behind Pisces and duality and Christianity. All right. And this whole point behind monotheism. And it's more than 6,000 years old. It goes back through, it's part of the Greek myths. It goes back, it's part of the Sumerian myths, so it's the Indians, the ideas of the Bhagavad Gita, and the Dot, the Indian guys, as well as the Dots, the feather guys. This runs rampant, and it just really is talking about our minds, and our bodies. Our minds are running the body. The mind is the number one thing, but inside that mind there is you, and that you represents the Father. All right, but it also has mother in there, father and mother. This is the 2 things that help to develop and make you and create the temple for God to dwell in. And that's you. All right. I know it's tough. God is an energy. God is Elohim. God is both male and female. And if you can't understand that the female side of you in the image is the right side of the brain where we're supposed to toss our nets to, then enjoy your poverty and click off and go your way. All right. But anyways, for the rest of us, the idea is, we being poor, when we start off this trip, and all of us, if we haven't made this trip all, have found through the book of Numbers that we were in book Numbers 6, when it comes down to works, that we made a pact. We made this some kind of a vow with God to be away from him for a number of whatever seasons, which actually means how many lives you have, because, you're a plant, and you're supposed to go through, what a plant does. A plant dies and comes back and dies and comes back and dies and comes back and dies. And we're certainly being made up as being plants. But what's most cool about all this here is that we found that the Bible itself, it represents the Word and the works, and Jesus represents the Word and the works. And it also means this idea of coming to God as a child and as a spirit, and that we have to somehow convert ourselves into this child's energy. And we also have to use this idea of hating oneself in order to do it. So this becomes like a judgmental thing. So you are also your judge. All right. Only God can judge you. And if you're God, And this one day you wake up like Moses. Let's just put ourselves in Moses' shoes. Sometimes that's easier for people to fashion. But the idea is that one day you are going to bring yourself you want to bring yourself out of this hell, but you'll only be able to recognize this as hell if it really was hell, you know. And not that it means there's fire and brimstone, but no, that there be gnashing of teeth, that there'll be trouble, and that when you come out into this world, there's trouble, and it's hurtful, and it's not very cool or wise, or you have to lie or cheat and steal to get through or something like that. But if you're in this world and everything is working perfectly, and you are keeping up with the Joneses and everybody's happy and stuff like that, and you're just well off, you're never hungry and stuff, and you got all the things that mankind can make for you, and you're just happy and you're blissful with your Fox News and your CNN news, and you believe everything that's going on in the world and stuff like that. You're not going to make any waves, you're kind of a fat cat, got everything going on. You do what everyone tells you to do and stuff like that. I don't think that there's a hell unless this is some kind of trap for you and you just want to get out. Or if you're one of those guys that you have all of that, but it keeps breaking down because you're self-sabotaging yourself and you just don't know what it is that you got. You can't keep it all together, There might be hell in your life. But basically, you have to also want to know God. If you don't want to know God, if you're an atheist or something like that, and you don't want to know God, want to have anything to do with God, I'm just talking to the air. And I haven't even begun to read yet. But if you don't want to be with this God, you don't want to talk to him, or, one guy I was talking to about this online, and he kept talking about, he was referred to the two witnesses as being the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Well, it very may well be, all right? That's the anatomy side of it. But he says, I don't believe in that spiritual side. And I said, well, look at that. You got all this knowledge. He calls himself wisdom. But here, he doesn't see that as the word. He can't see it as he's sowing. He doesn't see it as something that he could participate in. And so even with all that wisdom and knowledge and stuff that he has, it's still like he just missed the mark. And there is only one way to do this, and that's just, we've just gone over it one time after another, But generally, you have to want to have known this Lord. You're supposed to have sewn it up with him and this religion. You had to have gone in over your head. You had to cry with the best of them. You had to worry about things, and fretting over the end of times. Because truly, he says, that all of these things have to happen before the end of times. And that means, these earthquakes in various places, and you'll hear rumors of war and stuff like that. This is the outside world, mankind, which we have vowed to be separate from him or from her, be separated as in pieces, when we are shattered, when we have been scattered abroad, a type of thing. These are the words in the Bible that means that, God's left the building, But the building is you. It's not any of these other outside buildings. There's thousands of these dwellings outside, but our Bible says that God does not dwell in one of them, not even one. All right? But they're talking about the energy of God, so there is something larger than us, but it can only work through us. So he meant us to go through hell. So to be like Moses, I want my people free. I want to set my people free, And he thinks about it, and no. So he allows God to put this pestilence on them. And of course, the Jews were not, they were affected too. They were in the same area, but they had certain things they could do. If they were on God's side, they'd climb up the mountain and get away from all this heaven, right? But if they weren't true Jews, they would have to go through it, That's the whole business with tapping all this blood on the doorposts and stuff like this. It's another symbolic story of going in and meditating. But but Moses, yeah, he just wants to set his people free. The people set his body. He wants to be free. I'm tired of this. I don't want this anymore. I have torment, and plus you also are full of all these things that you were before, all the lives that you had. And if you can't deal with that, then, tough shit. How about this year, this life? But if you're bucking any of this information, then you don't understand it. I'm just making some kind of foreign noise to you. Get the hell out of here, go and enjoy something. I don't even know why I even think about this, but this is so simple. That's how you can tell whether or not you're with us or against us. If you're on one side or the other, because this it really simply makes more sense, and God is a lot more intelligent and more loving on this other side, far more understanding. But at the same time, we find that, that we have to have gone through the works. And that means both the scary parts of this Bible, learning it, knowing it, and fearing God, but still loving Him. All right? But we still kept this going on, but this doesn't seem to be working. And then one day, you advance past this, run into a teacher. This is what most all of these enlightened stories are about. Someone runs into a teacher, and then the teacher shows them the way. This is only for an individual's trip. You can't take your brothers and sisters with you, but what you teach them, if they're of this same God mind of some kind, and like mine, we all went through hell. You heard me tell my mom that we deserve this. We've earned this because it's been hell. It certainly has been hell. But, flowers bloom from thorny vines. And that's this whole idea. We have to go through hell before we get to this heaven. And with Jesus, or not with Jesus, but with Moses, it's really, we keep breaking down. Say, no, I'm not ready yet. I don't want. Okay, well, then you'll get some skin pestilence. Okay. All right, well, then I'm not ready again. Well, then after a while, he says, okay, well, all right, I'll set you free. Go ahead, go into the wilderness and worship God for your 3 days. Okay, go get it over with. All right, go do it. And then he comes back again, and God hardens his heart, and he says, okay, no, not this time, and then he says, okay, well, I'm going to give you another wrath, and he keeps like hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. He wants you to go through hell. He really does. This is some tough ass love. I'm telling you. And it only is going to affect those people that are at a certain point. That's why it doesn't come to people that are rich. It comes to those people that are poor. It's going to come to some person that's in the lower world, they're searching for men of the lower conscious, that love God, that want the Lord, and they want Him in their life. And they've been told all along they got to wait till they're dead, and outlawed all these other ways. You don't go in there. This is to the Pharisees that woe to them who shut the kings of heaven up to those that are looking for it. They neither enter in with themselves nor let them go in that are looking for it. And to think that, this is the Pharisees, this is religion, this is what they do, all right? But this is what the outside mankind does. This is apropos, But how cool it is now to be sitting on this other side. In hindsight's 2020. Become teachers now, and we try to get other people to come on board with us, all right? And there ain't no craziness. There's not even a sect. It's just you're setting people, giving them knowledge to go and do it themselves and be their own thing, be their own light, be their own lamp. Do all of this stuff on your own. And if you have friends and the criteria is that it's just not going to be anybody. It has to be those that want it and have it and have learned to this suffering part. You can't go without it. If you do not have this suffering for the Lord, you're not going to get there. All right. There's a switch, and God doesn't just bang you on your head and there you have it. You have your single eyes open, and you're now no longer retarded. All right. Several of us find ourselves awake, and we wriggle up to the top of the cesspool and just find that it really stinks in here. But we're just another turd amongst the rest of them. There isn't much else other than our minds that are different. And that's it. And there's no longer feeding this lower guy. So, there's plenty of people who are just running around blissful. All they have to do is believe that the Lord died for them, and in his name and stuff like that, and they'll be saved. They don't understand that it means that they have to go this way. They have to do what he says. There are these commands, any man that comes to him and does not hate his mother and father, his brother and sisters, yea, even himself, cannot follow him. He's not just talking shit, all right? This isn't something you can pick and say, okay, I'll take line 3, No, you might as well get in like line 3. That's the outside world, all right? But they think in the baker, maybe that's line 2. No, it clearly shows us just one way, and you and I have found it, discovered it, and we're spreading it around. And so go out there, learn how to fish. We are now official servants of the Lord, all right? We have learned to toss our nets over to the right side of the boat. We have also learned to sow the seed on fertile ground, which means we have learned how to understand the spirit of the Bible, the spirit of the Word, learned how to go inside and connect to the Lord. Oh my God. And we only have 25, 35 people interested. Ha ha ha. Yeah, well, this is the road less traveled for sure. It takes a hell of a lot more than just believing in the Lord. You also have to do the works. I love you guys. We're going to be talking about Jesus here soon. Jesus on his way to Nazareth. Well, Nazareth, where's he going? He's off to Jerusalem. This is where he's going. I know why Nazareth came in. Do you remember that the story in Numbers 6 highlights one of the stories of the Nazarene, and that they shall not cut their hair. They're allowed to let it grow. They're not allowed to have no wine. They're not allowed to do anything that's going to connect them to the Lord. This is about that separation. This is about the vow. This is the Nazarene, the law of the Nazarene, is that you have this separation before the end times. You cannot be saved any other way. You have to go through hell. Everyone comes into this world. I said this outside of children, the idea, and they still flip over, this world is hell. No one comes over here saved. No one. All right? They have to go through this hell, and eventually they're saved. Good night, you guys. I'll chat with you soon. That's my food.